Alright guys, right now we're going to be looking at volume of three-dimensional figures. The past videos have been pretty lengthy. This one's going to be short, sweet, and to the point. So first we need to think about what is volume. And volume is how much space an object takes up. And in word problems we'll often see this as how much of whatever can some object hold. So what can fit inside the object. So surface area was what can go on the outside. Now we're looking at what's on the inside of the figure. Unlike area or surface area, volume now takes into account a third dimension. We now have length, width, and height, okay, or depth. So this makes all of our units that we have at the end, area and surface area, we had like centimeters squared because we were dealing in 2 dimensions. Now we are dealing in 3 all at the same time, so all of our units are going to be cubed. Okay, so centimeters cubed. So these are the volume formulas that you just absolutely have to know. A cube is going to be the side, and instead of side squared like a square, we're going to take into consideration that the length, the width, and the height of the cube is all the same. So we have s times s times s, or s to the third, or s cubed. Any prism, and remember a prism is something that has 2 of the same base, okay? And then those are joined together with lateral faces, but it's got 2 of the same base. And this includes cylinders. We have the area of the base times the height of the prism. In a cylinder, our bases are circles, so we have pi times r squared times the height. So this is specifically for cylinders. When we deal with pyramids and cones, those will both be 1/3. So you think volume is to the cubed, so think of that as the 3 in front of here. The pyramid and cone are 1/3 the area of the base, whatever the base is, times the height. And then for a sphere, we have 4/3, so we had 4 pi r squared for the surface area. Now we have 4/3, we're bringing into account the 3, and instead of r squared, we now have r cubed. So 4/3 r to the third. Please keep in mind that volume of any prism is big base times the height, and you'll see it written this way. This big B really just stands for the area of the base. So it doesn't matter what the base is of a prism. If I know its area, I just multiply it by the height and get the volume. So let's do some examples. Find the volume here of this sphere. Well, this is one of those formulas that you have to know. Volume is 4/3 pi r not squared cubed. So we have 4/3 times pi, or 3.14, times 6 cubed. So the volume here is going to be about 904.32 centimeters, again, cubed. Okay. Here we have a cone. So a cone, remember, is 1/3 the area of the base times the height. In a cone, the base is a circle. So I have 1/3, the area of the base is going to be pi r squared. That's my circle. And then I multiply that by the height. So then I simply fill in my numbers. 1/3 pi, the radius here is 8 squared, times the height is 18. So if I plug that into my calculator and multiply it all out, my volume ends up being about 1,205.76 centimeters cubed. Here I have a prism. Remember, the volume of any prism is the area of a base. So my base here is a triangle. It's a triangular prism. So my volume is the area of the base. Okay, in this it's a triangle, so my area is 1/2 base times height, and then times the height of the prism. And here the height of my prism is 18. So I have the volume is this area, so 1/2. This is a right triangle, so the leg here is my height. So I have 1/2 9 times 12 times the height of the prism, 18. So the volume is 1/2. 9 times 12 is going to give me 108 times 18. Half of 108 is 54 times 18. So my volume here is approximately 972 centimeters cubed. Okay, so I had the volume is the area of the base, so the area of this triangle times the height. So here we are given the volume of a sphere is 2,400 cubic centimeters. What is the approximate diameter of the sphere? First I need to start with my volume formula, which is 4/3 pi r to the third. We plug in what we know. 2,400 is 4/3 pi r to the third. Alright, so I need to solve for r. I need to solve for my radius. So, to get rid of this 4/3, I multiply by its reciprocal, which I just flip the fraction upside down. Multiply by 3/4. Do that to both sides. When I do that, I end up with 1,800 equals pi r cubed. Then I divide both sides by pi. Okay, let me do that on our calculator to show you what that looks like. So 1,800, and I'm just going to divide by the approximation. I could use the pi here. Let's just do that. Let's use pi. Second, and then this up key. Okay, that's going to use all of pi, not an approximation. Alright, so now I have this, and that is my radius cubed. However, I had 500, what was that, 572.96, let's say. 572.96 is radius cubed. However, how do I undo cube? I do the cube root. So just like we undid square with a square root, I can undo anything to any power by making the index of my radical, remember this number here is our index, whatever the power is that it's raised to. So we're going to do the cube root of 572.96, and I'll show you how to do that on your calculator. You go to Math, and here option 4 is your cube root option, so I'm going to do 4, and instead of retyping all this, I'm going to do second, and then this equal key. That's going to give me, that's going to repeat whatever answer I had above. Enter, so I have about 8.3. So R is about 8.3 centimeters. However, what did the problem ask me? Diameter. So I multiply this by 2, so the diameter is approximately 16.6 centimeters. And lastly, we have a triangular prism with a base that has a base with an area of 14 centimeters squared. The volume is 280 centimeters cubed. What is the height of the prism? Notice it's a prism, so for any prism, volume is the area of the base times the height. Well, it gives me the area of the base, and it gives me the volume. 280 is the base, 14 times the height. So I divide both sides by 14, and I get 20 equals the height. So 20 centimeters. And that's all there is, kids. So memorize your volume formulas, keep practicing your surface area and area formulas, and you're going to have a cumulative quiz pretty soon.